Welcome to the Midlife Edit, the podcast for women who are navigating the beautiful, messy, and sometimes sweaty journey of midlife. This isn't about a crisis, it's about an awakening. Join me, your host, Jen Weinstein, as I dive into all the things no one warned us about: hot flashes, brain fog, strength training, hormone balancing, and figuring out who the hell we are now. With a mix of expert insights, real talk, and a little humor, because if we're not laughing, we're crying, right? The Midlife Edit is your go-to space for embracing this season with confidence, strength, and balance. Whether you're trying to lift heavier, sleep better, set stronger boundaries, or just remember why you walked into a room, this podcast is here to remind you: midlife is not the end, it's just an edit, and you get to rewrite it your way. Hit subscribe and let's tackle midlife together, one episode at a time. This is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Midlife Edit. I'm your host, Jen Weinstein, and today, I'm not sorry. That's right, you get me in a solo episode talking about my midlife filter and what I'm no longer apologizing for. Listen, today we're going to talk about shedding the guilt and ditching the shoulds and embracing our unapologetic midlife confidence. Because I've been really thinking about this a lot lately, and I hear myself doing it all the time. I'm sorry. And I need to stop and think, what am I actually apologizing for? Look, it's not about being rude or reckless. It's about being real. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I feel like as women, all we do is apologize. We apologize for how we feel, or how we look, or our beliefs, or something we said. Even if we believe it down to our core, we're still made to feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should apologize for that. And I've done it all my life. I still do it now, And it's just something that's just been really weighing heavy on me. Like, why are we apologizing? And it's funny because our kids do it too, in different ways maybe. Like with us, they'll say, I'm sorry, just to say I'm sorry, just because their words coming out of their mouth. Are they really sorry? Do they know what they're apologizing for? But then the same thing goes with us. So if I'm trying to parent and lead by example, maybe I should stop saying I'm sorry, because they're just words, right? And if you say them over and over again without real meaning, they lose their luster. It loses the whole point of what we're supposed to be apologizing for. I was away over the weekend at 2 Dave Matthews shows, like I do, because it's tour season. And, I love these shows because I meet some amazing people. But now that I have this podcast, it's one of the things that I talk about, when I meet these women. And we were talking, I met some really amazing women over the weekend, and we were talking about my podcast. And, it's funny because we grew up with this band. So now we're all kind of in midlife and just sharing experiences and things like that. But we were talking about how we're constantly apologizing for things. And it's so funny because I think it's to the point where we don't even realize we do it, right? It's just that second nature. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I just think that it's time for us to stop. There's a book called Girl, Stop Apologizing that's really good if you want to go out and read it. And I know, you can listen to this podcast or you can read a book, but it's all about changing habits and behaviors, and it takes a while. It's not something that you can just stop overnight. And honestly, I almost said I'm sorry at the beginning of this episode because I don't feel real great right now. A little under the weather, but I wanted to record this. So if it's not long, it's not long, but I'm not apologizing for it because I don't have to, right? It's my platform, and I know that my listeners out there like what I do, whether it's 5 minutes or 45 minutes. But I really wanted to get this out this week because it's just something that's been weighing on me. We have been conditioned all our lives to be people pleasers or perfectionists, or even just shrinking ourselves down to avoid discomfort. And I think that's where the I'm sorry's come in. You don't want somebody to be mad at you, so you say I'm sorry. Or you just want people to like you, so you apologize for being the real you. Or you apologizing for having opinion that is different than somebody else's. You know, there's been this kind of turning point for me. And a lot of it had to do with therapy. My work in therapy, I've put up some boundaries. I've started realizing that taking time to myself isn't something that I should apologize for. But, I'm also going into I'll be 42 this year, so I'm in my 40s. I'm perimenopausal, so that rage is there, and I know sometimes I do need to apologize for that perimenopause rage. But I also realize that something has to change. I don't want to be apologizing for things that don't need to be apologized for. And this is kind of like, everybody says there are those people in your lives that don't have filters. That's okay, right? Sometimes I wish I were a little bit more like this. So this is my midlife filter, and I'm going to take it off because I'm going to figure out what gets to stay there in my filter and what gets said louder and what needs to be cut out. There's a lot of things that I have stopped apologizing for, but there are things that it's going to take me some time to stop apologizing. But one of the biggest things is saying no. Not just saying no, but saying no without like a big 5-paragraph explanation. If somebody asks you if you want to do something, a simple no is okay. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to apologize for saying no. Another big thing that I need to stop apologizing for is needing to rest. We are constantly on the go, and I talk about this all the time. We're busy women. We're doing everything for everybody else, and sometimes everything for ourselves too, but it's okay to just stop and rest, and you don't have to apologize for it. I really struggle with resting or taking that time to, if I'm not feeling great, I'm apologizing all the time. Like today, I don't feel great. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't get to the laundry. I'm so sorry I didn't get to this. Why? It's okay to rest every once in a while. And these are the things that I need to tell myself in my head. So something I'm going to try to change. You don't have to apologize for changing your mind. We're allowed to change our minds, right? If you decide on a Monday that maybe you're going to go have dinner with a friend on Thursday, and then Thursday rolls around and you just don't feel like it, it's okay to change your mind. You can be sorry that maybe you inconvenienced someone, but you don't have to be sorry that you changed your mind. I'm 41 years old. Do you know how many times I've changed my mind in my life? I have been a slew of different people, I think, throughout my life, and have had different opinions or changed my mind on a job or a relationship or music or whatever it is. It's okay to change your mind, and you don't have to apologize for it. Please stop apologizing for not looking put together all the time. Again, we're busy, and this is real life. We don't have people walking behind us doing our hair and makeup. We don't have a glam squad that's constantly there to fix us up. If you want to roll out with no makeup and leggings and a sweatshirt to the grocery store and you see somebody there that you didn't think you'd run into, don't apologize for looking like that. That's who you are. What about prioritizing yourself over others' expectations? Others have high expectations of us, but I also think that we think that others have high expectations for us when really they probably don't. When you're getting dressed and you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what's somebody going to think about how I look or what makeup I have on or how my hair is done? Honestly, are they really thinking about that? No, you know what they're doing? The same damn thing. They're standing in front of that mirror thinking, oh, what is somebody going to think of me? No, we're self-involved. We're thinking about ourselves, right? So you need to prioritize you and your feelings over what you think others' expectations are, right? What about traditional timelines or quote unquote roles? Oh, I should have this done. I'm 30. I should have this done by now. And I'm 40 and I should have this done by now. And I'm 50 and I should have this. Bullshit. Get rid of it all. Don't have Don't compare yourself with timelines of other people. I have friends, myself included, who had babies in their early 20s. I have friends right now who are having babies in their 40s. Everybody's timeline's different. What about your dream job? Who knows what that is? What if you're 40 and you decide to go back to school? Hell yeah, good for you. Don't follow traditional timelines or rules just because you think you have to, and don't apologize for being 45 and starting something new. My biggest one right now are a list of things that you don't have to apologize for outgrowing. We outgrow things all the time, right? We're constantly evolving and growing and changing. So don't apologize for outgrowing relationships, whether it's friendships or relationships with family members or a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend or a wife. If you've outgrown that, don't apologize for it. Sometimes we hang on to things just because we feel obligated to because they're blood, or because you've been friends with them for 20 years, or because society says that you're not supposed to leave a relationship after so many years. It's okay to outgrow things. It's okay to walk away. And you don't have to apologize for it. If you feel like that's what's best for you, then move on. Don't apologize for outgrowing environments. There are certain areas in our lives where we're around certain people or certain environments that just don't fuel us anymore. They don't feed us anymore. They're not what we need to be doing. So leave. What about belief systems? This one's a big one too. Just because sometimes the way we grow up, we're taught a certain thing, our families are done, whether it's things that I don't like to talk about on here, like religion or politics, or, just normal everyday things. You can change your belief systems. It's okay. And you don't have to apologize for it. You believe what you want to believe because you have that right. What about your feelings? Don't apologize for outgrowing those either. You can feel super strongly about a topic when you're 18, and then when you're 25, you change your mind on that. Or your feelings of disdain for somebody could change eventually once you get to know them. Or the opposite. You've loved somebody for so long, but you're kind of outgrowing your feelings for them. It's okay. You're allowed to have feelings. You don't have to apologize for them. Don't apologize for outgrowing your job. I always go back to it, but the way we grew up in our generation and the generation before us is you go to school and you either go right out of high school into a trade, or you go to college and then you get a job and you're in that job forever. That's just how we were taught. That was the norm in society. But you know what? We don't have to do that anymore. We can outgrow our jobs. We can want something more for ourselves. So stop apologizing for outgrowing those. Or your personality. Stop apologizing for outgrowing your personality. God, if my personality would be the same now that it was when I was 10, 12, I'd be Jem. But again, if my personality was the same as it was when I was 18, I wouldn't be in the same place that I am right now. It's okay to outgrow that. It's okay to outgrow your dreams. Again, back to when we were younger, Did you want to be a teacher or an astronaut when you were younger? Well, you outgrew those, right? It's okay to outgrow your dreams. Same thing with hobbies. There are things that we've done that maybe we really loved for a really long time. And it was one of those things where maybe you spent a lot of money on it and you're afraid to outgrow it. It's okay. It's okay to change. Same with perspectives. You can have a positive perspective on something, but still want to outgrow it, and it's okay. My big one is don't apologize for outgrowing your clothes. We grow up, we grow older, our bodies change constantly. It doesn't matter if you're size 2 or if you're size 16. If you've outgrown them, you don't have to apologize to anybody for that. It's about how you feel. If you feel good in that size, do it. Embrace it. Live with it. Another big one for women, especially women, is please don't apologize for asking what you want. Ask for what you want, whether that's in a relationship, in a job, in life in general. Ask for more money at your job if you feel like that's what you want. Money's a very uncomfortable subject for me, I'm not going to lie. And it's really hard to have a conversation with someone about money when you know that you deserve more. We feel intimidated as women. We feel smaller than. We need to stop apologizing for that. It's time to reframe our mindsets on this. We need to go from feeling guilty to growing. If you think about it, you just sit and think, if I stop saying I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z, how would that impact your life? Would it give you a sense of clarity or peace? Maybe confidence? Or setting better boundaries? So what about improving your health? We need to stop apologizing for taking care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of other people. So if you go to a workout class and you're running late after that class, don't apologize for it. You did something to make yourself feel better. Don't apologize for saying no to a social event because you don't want to drink, because you know that's not what your body needs right now. Don't apologize for saying no to a slice of cake at a party because you just don't want it. Sometimes guilt is often a sign of growth, right? It's not wrongdoing. So if we feel like we're feeling guilty for these things and we need to apologize, maybe try to reframe that. Maybe try to think that this is me growing. This is me setting a boundary. This is me being true to who I am. Listen, I told you at the beginning of this episode, I'm not feeling the greatest today, so I'm not going to make it real long. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you about what you're apologizing for today that you don't think you should be. Or maybe you don't realize you're doing. Maybe it's one of those things where it's just second nature and you're saying, I'm sorry. Stop and think. Once those words come out of your mouth, just make a mental note. Did I really need to apologize for that? Let's talk about a journal prompt, and I'm going to put this up tomorrow as our weekly journal prompt. But let's write about what we need to stop apologizing for. Our journal prompt this week is going to be, what am I no longer apologizing for, and what freedom does that give me? It doesn't have to be something that you're actually not apologizing for. Let's manifest it. Let's put it out in the universe. Let's talk about what we're no longer going to apologize for. I would love to hear from you. I would love to have you on the episode talking about how you've stopped apologizing for something and how great it's made you feel. So email me at jen@themidlifeeditco.com. Tag me in a social post. Tell me what you've stopped apologizing for, or what you think we as women in midlife need to stop apologizing for. Midlife is not the end of your story. It's where we get to write without a censor. We're editing our lives right now. So let's just take that I'm sorry out of it. Next week, we're going to get back into the health and fitness part of midlife. Because honestly, something I'm not apologizing for right now is I've kind of not been the greatest in that aspect of my life. So I'm going to have you help me do it and hold me accountable. Next week, we're going to talk about it. But listen, ladies, and men, if you're listening, and you have women in midlife who you know are constantly apologizing, call them out on it. When they tell you I'm sorry for something they shouldn't be sorry for, call them out on it. Ladies, call your friends out on this. And if you know of somebody who is constantly saying they're sorry and you know they're struggling with this, share this episode with them. Tell them it's okay to stop apologizing, because we don't have to. We don't have to be sorry for being who we are. So again, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for letting me be who I am and feel a little yucky today and make a quick episode. But I also want you to stop. So just stop it. Make sure you like and subscribe to this podcast. Please share, write me a review, shoot me a DM, tell me what you're not going to apologize for this week. But until next week, this is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter.